When Pauline Hanson tabled the "It's okay to be white" motion in the Senate, it was only rejected by a majority of 3 votes.
When we look at events like reconciliation in this country, Rio Tinto is one of the biggest donors, but they just got rid of a 47,000-year-old Indigenous site. We'll just blow that up. We need it for mining.
I've been vocal about black deaths in police custody for a long time. The Royal Commission into Aboriginal Deaths in Custody was published the year before I was born. I'm 28 now, and not a lot has changed here in Australia since.
Aboriginal people are jailed at a higher rate, some 30% faster than even African Americans.
I'm pretty sure if you spoke to every person of colour in this country, that there's pretty much always been a racism problem, and that pretty much started with Terra Nullius.
Human rights are human rights or human rights. You can't just pick and choose which human rights you support.
These fights are exhausting. They're designed to break you down until you're too tired to continue and you become complacent in the society that we live in.
Yama. I'm Dr. Nikki Moody and I'm a proud queer Gomeroi woman.
I'm Davy Thompson. I am a Bidjara, Inanji, Waka Waka and Gubbi Gubbi artist from Central Queensland, living and working in Naarm.
My name's Greg Phillips. I'm Wanyi Jaru, Aboriginal person and gay man, and I live here in Melbourne on the lands of the Wurundjeri and Bunurong peoples.
My name's Don Bemrose. I'm a Gungari man with family ties to the Cherbourg Aboriginal community up in southeast East Queensland.
The George Floyd riots are a result of the reality that all lives are not, in fact, valued equally.
I'm not saying that all non-Aboriginal people are racist or are the problem, but what we're saying is that all non-Aboriginal people benefit and privilege from the theft of our lands and our ongoing subjugation.
Will Smith famously said, "Racism isn't getting worse, it's getting filmed." I think that's incredibly important to remember. I'd like to think we aren't going backwards as much as it feels like we are. I prefer to say that technology has provided us with more avenues of accountability.
We need our non-Aboriginal queer friends and partners and families to also speak out about racism.
There are members of our Australian society who have loud voices that continually dismiss racism and put the problem back on anyone of colour, people of colour.
You'll see experts talking about how non-violent protest is the best way to achieve change in a democracy, but it doesn't always work, and it rarely works for issues of race and racism.
I definitely, grew up with comments about what are you, not who are you, not where are you from, not anything, but what are you? How come you're that colour?
A riot is the voice of the unheard and comes from a place of rage and pain so deep that it has no other way to come out.
Black people have always been a part of the queer community.
Stonewall was started by Black trans women, and that gay, lesbian, queer, trans, non-binary humans around the world carry the scars of violent oppression today. We know that sometimes riots work.
There are some rich gay white men in particular, but all different parts of our communities that sometimes look down their nose at Black or people of colour.
It's disgusting that this is happening, but we've got to remember that, there's been, since the 91 report into Aboriginal deaths in custody, there's still been 400 since.
Indigenous people are more likely to be locked in the back of a paddy wagon without air conditioning for hours on a 45-degree day, or kick down a set of stairs in the station, or refuse medical treatment for a heart attack or a punctured lung or epilepsy that the cops don't believe you have, or thrown into a cell in such a way that your head hits the wall and you never wake up.
It should make you feel uncomfortable because it's not right.
To the non-trained eye, or those that are a bit judgmental and don't even know they are, or to the outright racist, they will hear a statistic like that and think, oh, well, they must have done something to deserve it. Aboriginal people are targeted more and fare worse for the same crimes and misdemeanours as non-Aboriginal counterparts.
There's only, 750, 800,000 Aboriginal people in this country, yet 400 have died at the hands of police in this country.
The Australian state incarcerates Aboriginal people more than any other nation on earth, and more than African Americans, in fact.
This is still happening in Australia.
Aboriginal young kids, one of the highest youth suicide rates in the world. It's not that we're innately any more suicidal than any other population. It's that the systemic barriers are so highly stacked against us. The enabling environment produces depression, anxiety, and suicide. None of these things will improve unless we know who we are as a nation.
Just because cops aren't executing people on the street doesn't mean that this country isn't trying to kill Black and brown people every single day.
Give the microphone to some of those people who, yes, have anger, but have anger to change, have anger to adjust, have anger to come out stronger, not anger well, maybe to rip down an old system, but also then think about how they're going to rebuild a new system.
Look in the mirror and get out there and have a go.
If all lives matter, ask why the lives of Black people always seem to matter less, regardless of the country that you're in.
Allies are great, but accomplices are always better. I'll see you out there.